Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Thursday, February 5th. We can take a look at the market the way we usually do and our indicators, and then we're going to take a quick walk around the world, and then we're going to look at Twitter, Yelp, GoPro, and Alibaba. Okay, let's start off here with the Dow Industrials, up 211 points. This is starting to get to be old hat. I mean, if you look at this chart, since say right here, actually here's the 30th, so 31st, say almost the first of the year, we've had about 15 days, and I'm just approximating by looking at the chart, of at least 150 point move or more in the Dow Industrials. So we're having some big swings, a lot of volatility. I'm not sure that we've really broken out of this range yet. You know, it's like right across in here, and you could almost say that it's down here where this dotted line is, you know, right in here. Or you could just look at the body of the candles and say, hey, let's ignore the wicks and say, well, it's between here and here. But either way, I'm not sure we're out of the range yet. When we look at, let me go to the S&P, and I pointed this out on my post on Tuesday. The S&P clearly shows it even more clearly. Let's put it that way, in terms of the bouncing back and forth. And this really did not get above this, I don't believe. 2062, what is the high here? 2064, high 2064. So, I mean, we're just right now. Maybe it'll break it. Maybe we'll pop on out of here. But right now, it hasn't done it yet, okay? We look at this, you could see it in the RSI. The RSI is just fluctuating right in the middle of the bands. And when you look at the directional movement indicator, the ADX right in here is just, it's not showing a trend at all. I mean, it's, you know, up and down very slightly, and some of the indices have even more indecision being shown in here. The NASDAQ is more the same. Okay, New York Composite. Now this one almost looked like it was breaking out, but when I look at the RSI, this doesn't look like it's breaking out in the RSI. It almost looks like it's still in some kind of symmetrical triangle. I mean, when I look at this, based on the RSI, it's like you could draw some lines in here, which, you know, a lot of times I do. You know, I'm looking at different things. And it looks like it's getting compressed. But when you look at this does look higher. But the thing that's interesting with this versus you notice how the S&P was very much horizontal. This looks like it's going like this, and, you know, kind of the same way down here. Almost like this is a little more slanted upwards, kind of a counter trend type of zigzagging back and forth. It definitely looks like corrective action to me because it's, you know, overlapping waves. And this just looks like a different version of what we just saw in the S&P 500. Let me get my mouse back. Okay, and then I think I missed the NASDAQ. Maybe I didn't. NASDAQ's about the same. And the Russell 2000. This had the biggest percentage mover today, up on the Russell 2000. But again, we may be doing, I don't know. I mean, this may be signaling a breakout. I'm not sure. We could be still doing some kind of corrective wave. I mean, that would be my interpretation. And again, when you get into these corrective waves, I mean, things can get kind of complex. What we don't know is, you know, was this the top of the wave? Let me look at this. Was this the top of the wave here? And we got, you know, we're doing like an A, B, and we got a C, and then now we're off and doing something like this. You know, it's really, it's kind of unclear right now. The other thing I noticed is look at these three little tops over here, and then look at these three little tops over here. Now, I tell you what, if we would have had more of where I could draw a horizontal line here, I would have thought this was doing some kind of head and shoulders top. I mean, you know, this whole scenario like this, but I don't know. I mean, it's creating a lot of uncertainty, let's put it that way. All right, let's take a quick look at some indicators. Short-term trading index right in the middle. It's not giving us an extreme one way or the other. The VIX is pulled back, and the VIX is mirroring the compression and the volatility compression that's going on in the indices. We're going to break out of this one way or the other. We're going to break out of it. Now here in the high-low, we're just kind of hanging and again chopping sideways on the high-low index. 142 more new highs than new lows today. And again, this is not, I mean, it's not spectacular stuff for the big moves that we're making, I don't think. All right, let's go ahead. The McClellan oscillator, I wanted to take a look at that real quick. And that's on, I've got that on the New York Composite. It's kind of showing the same thing as the high-low, although this more, it's tied. Sometimes it updates later. Yeah, see how that's really interesting. I don't know why it does that. The data coming out of the New York Stock Exchange a lot of times doesn't get finalized to 6, 7 o'clock Eastern time or later. And so my data provider doesn't really update this. Now, this is pushing a little bit, pushing up towards the high side. And remember 150, you get above 150 on the McClellan oscillator, you're now getting into overbought territory. You get below, you're into oversold territory. So we're approaching that a little bit, but we're not there yet. Okay, so that's an indicator I keep on the New York Composite because that's the broad New York indice that we've got. All right, now let's take a look at the DAX, the German DAX. See what the DAX is showing us. Look at how the DAX is leading higher. It's like, okay, it's like, it's like leading the way. Where it's telling us where's the Dow Industrials. It's like, come along. This is pushing. Remember, this looks like a little symmetrical triangle. It broke out of this. This is the projection line parallel to this line here, and it's just riding it and still heading higher. Now I bet you we're getting some divergence maybe up in here on the RSI, yes. And on the DI plus, yes. We'll see. I mean, again, not super strong, and we're still above the 10, so it's still trending higher. The next one is the Russian RTSI index, which is the Russian index in the U.S. dollar, measured in the dollar. And so we've got some consolidation going on here for a little over a month. And after this huge down move, some consolidation will be interesting to see. Is this a halfway point and we got another leg? Is this like leg 1, 2, 3? And I'm not sure if you know. So like you have one, and you chop sideways in like a wave, and then you come up like this, maybe equal to this. That could be what's going on here. That's a possibility anyway. That's my first thought that comes to mind when I see that chart. Okay, the next one is it's the India Nifty 50. All right, this does look like we're, again, in this fifth wave. I had a question mark here because I wasn't really sure if this was the fourth point, but it's starting to look that way, the way these waves are falling out. This looks like, kind of a, right here, 1, and then 2, which is kind of an A, B, C, almost like a running flat type of thing, 3, and a 4, which would imply a 5 up into here. And that looks to be what's playing out. And let's see. And then the last one we'll take a look at is Shanghai Composite. And Shanghai Composite. Okay, this I think, based on the way I saw this little three-wave move here, I thought it was an A. We got the pullback B to the beginning of A. So now we should be getting a C back down at least to here. And I think it's probably going to go a little further than that, given that we've got a big wave to correct. I mean, when you look at, let's assume that it started here and we take it to the top of wave 1. This will only be 23.6%. Down here would be like 38%. This would be more of the minimum I would be looking for, maybe to the bottom of this little fourth wave here. So I would think somewhere down into here on the Shanghai Composite. We'll see if that's what happens. Okay, now let's take a look at the 4 stocks we want to take a look at tonight is Twitter, Alibaba, Yelp, GoPro. I guess we can start off. Let's start off with Alibaba. We ended with China, and we'll go ahead with this big Chinese stock. All right, so this one was down 3 points today. pretty big move to the downside, big move percentage-wise. It's continuing the downtrend. So now all the moving averages here. Now we don't have a 233-day moving average because this is the beginning of trading back over here, right, in September. So we've only been trading since late September, so not that long, but it is clearly in a downtrend. Take a look at, see if we're getting any kind of, we're not really getting any kind of divergence showing up on the RSI, not on the DI minus either. So I look at that and say, well, okay, it still looks kind of negative. And the lowest trading point on this was what? The low 82.81, closed today at 87. So looks like it's in a downtrend, down gear. All right, let's take a look at, go alphabetical here, GoPro, Class A. Okay, now this is in a downtrend, all right? So lower lows, lower highs. Now we are getting some resistance here, or resistance, divergence is what I'm looking. The word I'm looking for is bullish divergence. Okay, so the RSI did not go to a lower low, but the price did. So the indicator did not confirm the move. We didn't get the same reading on DI minus. We did get it on the demand. So 2 out of the 3 are giving a little bit of bullish divergence in here. Now the interesting thing, in the after hours, GoPro announced earnings. It was trading, I think, up around 60 early, and then it collapsed and is trading. I'm not sure where it ended, but I saw it trading down around 45 around 6 o'clock Central Time. So, you know, it may be down here, and not sure exactly what the reaction is, what to the earnings and that type of thing. Wasn't following the earnings release that closely. Okay, the next one is Twitter. And of course, Twitter had their earnings after the market closed too. And we got stopped out on Twitter today. I was in a trade idea and the stop was right here, and actually because it gapped open, it gapped all the way up here. Basically I waited for the first 15 minutes or so of trading to let it settle a little bit, and then basically got out of the trade idea at that point. So you know, we'll see. The aftermarket, it was trading at, initially it went all the way down to 38, and then I know it went all the way up to 45 plus, may have gone to 46. I think towards the end of the trading, it was up here around 45. That may be where it opens. I still am having a hard time believing that this is not corrective action, okay? Just because of the way this was so choppy and overlapping, this may be one final last hurrah move of some kind on it. I don't know, but it just doesn't look like an impulsive start to a new beginning, but it may be. But right now I'm going with the fact that it's not. And okay, we got this big gap right here. It may take a shot at trying to close that gap, which the low here is 47.18. Now the other thing to take a look at on Twitter is the retracement. Okay. And I hate when it does that. I've actually, with this software, I've got to grab the top up there, go to the low. Okay, so 38, so 50% is right here, right about where it was trading at towards the end of the after hours. And 61.8 puts it up here closing the gap. So we're right up in here in this zone where it could easily have just done a 50% retracement, and we'll see what it does after that. And the last one we're going to take a look at tonight is Yelp. And Yelp is in a similar situation. Notice how, okay, these fan lines I have kept on the chart. I drew those fan lines back here in October, November, because I really thought this was going to collapse back then. I thought it was going to take out this low point in this time frame in December. I really did. Pulled back to the fan line, dropped down again, pulled back to the fan line. Look at how it went. Literally, I just extended that fan line out today just to see where it touch point, and this is how it looks. Well, Yelp, I believe, had earnings today also, and in the after hours, it is trading down around 50 was the last time I saw it. So If it opens down there, it could be the start of a new downdraft leg, which is what I was expecting many weeks ago. So we'll see if that's what happens and if that plays out. But that's how Yelp looks, and I think it's, you know, still in the downtrend here. So, all right, although I do think it's had, you know, a big A, B, and we're working a C, we could be in the final leg to the downside of Yelp. We'll just have to watch the wave count and see how it plays out. All right, this has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. If you're watching the video anywhere else but my website, head on over there, check it out. We've got posts and other good stuff. Hey, I just revised the archive page too. Got a blog archive page. That's pretty cool, actually. I like the little plugin I'm using in the WordPress, and it allows you to kind of see all of the posts, you know, by day, each month, and you can clearly see the title of them, and you can collapse them, expand them, and look at everything I've got out for every month on back through the years. So it's pretty slick if you want to take a look at that. What I really need to look at is see how I can incorporate the categories into that for search. But right now, I've got it the way I've got it. We'll always trying to improve. So, hey, and if you're not a subscriber, just click on the little red box here on the screen and subscribe. Remember, stay focused, follow your plan, trade without fear. Have a great Friday, everyone. Oh, don't forget, we got the jobs report first thing in the morning tomorrow. So we'll see how much of an impact that has on things.